Hi guys, so I thought we'd do a little video to go over range and IQR. I thought we would just use our activity from class where we put some pencils in as placeholders in our data set. So I have an example over here. This should be working. Okay, so we have our data set, and the first thing we want to do when finding really any measures of center or variation is put the number set in order. Least to greatest, so I'm going to go ahead and move those in order. Okay, so now we should have all of our numbers, least to greatest. And the first topic that we worked on today was range. And range is pretty quick. So you want to do the highest number minus the lowest number. So our range would be 15 minus 1, 14. So we would say this data set has a range of 14. And that kind of tells us about the size and shape of the data set. How big is it? How spread out is the entire set of numbers? So then, say this number 15 was something like 85. We would have a really big range of numbers. It wouldn't necessarily be very reflective of our data. So we have this other measure that we can use called an interquartile range. That way, if there's outliers, the interquartile range lets us just focus on the middle set of numbers, the middle 50%. So I still have my numbers in order. This time I'm going to find IQR, interquartile range. And the first step, and this is where I'm going to use a pencil like we did in class, is to find the median. So that reviews our concept from last week, the median of the whole data set. So when I have the numbers written out like this, I can kind of move them, spread them out like that. And if this is something that helps you, you could definitely use a piece of scratch paper or your notebooks to make them into cards. And I'm going to put a blue pencil there to represent Q2. That's our word quartile 2. Or our median of the whole data set. Now that's the median because there's 4 pieces of data on this side and there's 4 pieces of data on this side. So what is Q2? You remember if the median is in between two numbers, you have to add them up and divide by 2. So in between 6 and 6, so 6 plus 6 is 12, 12 divided by 2 is 6. We can just think, well, if they're the same numbers on either side, then Q2 is 6. Okay, so I'm gonna move that up so you can see it. Okay, so Q2 is 6. All right, now I'm going to focus on just the lower 4 numbers, the lower half of the data, the lower 50%, and I'm going to find the median of those 4. So just looking at those 4, the median or middle would be in between the 2 and the 4. So I'm going to put this pencil right there to mark that. And that's Q1, quartile 1. Okay, and now what number is in between 2 and 4? This one we can kind of figure out just mentally. In between 2 and 4 is 3. So we would say Q1 is 3. So I'm going to add that onto our cards right here. So we said Q1 is 3. We said Q2 was 6. And now we're going to find Q3. So we're going to find the median of the upper 4. So on this side of the blue pencil. So 6, 8, 12, and 15. So the middle of that data set is going to be in between, oh, I dropped my marker, in between 8 and 12. So we know 2 on this side and 2 on this side. I'm going to put a purple pencil there. Okay, so Q3 would be the middle of these 4 numbers. And now what's in between 8 and 12? We want to think, okay, 8 plus 12 is 20. 20 divided by 2 is 10. So Q3 is 10. And that uses our skill from last week of median. Okay, so basically we just found the median 3 times. And remember, guys, we talked about, well, why are they called quartiles, which sounds like 4s, quad, quart, if there's only 3 of them? Because it divides our data up into 4 groups. So here's one group, here's a second group, a third group, and a fourth group of data. And those 3 Qs let us do that. So if you remember, we talked about the Hershey bar. If I wanted to share it with 3 other people, so 4 of us are having a candy bar, how many times would I have to break it? These are like those breaks. Now, that's what we have to do to get our work to find the IQR. So we need to do now for IQR, I'm going to put this little paper right here. The IQR is equal to Q3 minus Q1. So basically, we're going to find the range between these 2 numbers right here. So we're almost done. We found Q2 first. We found Q1. We found Q3. We basically found the middle and took that and found the middle and took this and found the middle. And now we're just going to do Q3 minus Q1. So 10 minus 3. I'm going to fill that in on our paper here. So our IQR would be 7, which means that the middle 2 groups, the middle 50% of our data, has a spread of 7. Okay, so one more time, we took our data set, we put it in order, we found Q2, or the middle of the whole thing, we found the middle of this, the middle of that, and then we did a subtraction problem, and that wraps up IQR. Okay, and we also just reviewed range. Range is the quick and easy one. Just do the high minus the low. So 15 minus 1, regular old range would be 14. All right, hope that helps. I'm going to be looking at what you guys are doing on Google Classroom. So make sure you take your time. If you have any questions, ask me. I'll send you guys some feedback and then head over to Get More Math. You guys only have to get 5 points today. And just like I said, let me know if you guys have any questions.